Do you know? Which American general served as the top commander during World War II and the Korean War? Which American general played a key role as the top commander of the United States during World War I? Which American general served as the supreme commander of the Southwest Pacific area during World War II? Which American general was the supreme commander of the Allied occupation of Japan? He was Douglas MacArthur, an American general. He was born on January 26, 1880, in Little Rock, Arkansas, United States. He served as the top commander during World War II and the Korean War and achieved the rank of General of the Army. He served as the top commander of the United States during World War I, as Chief of Staff of the United States Army from 1930 to 1935, as Supreme Commander of the Southwest Pacific area during World War II, as Supreme Commander of the Allied occupation of Japan, and as Commander of the United Nations Forces during the Korean War. MacArthur was nominated for honorary medals 3 times. He was one of only 5 U.S. Army officers to achieve the rank of General of the Army and the only person to hold the rank of Field Marshal in the Philippine Army. He passed away in April 1964 in Washington, D.C., United States. In this video, we will learn in detail about Douglas MacArthur. Early life and education. Douglas MacArthur was born on January 26, 1880, at the Little Rock Barracks in Arkansas. His father, Arthur MacArthur Jr., was a Union officer honored for bravery in the Civil War and later became a lieutenant general, while his mother, Mary Pinky MacArthur, was from a prominent Virginia family. Douglas was the youngest of 3 brothers and spent his childhood on American frontier army posts, learning horseback riding and firearms at a young age. In 1889, his family moved to Washington, and later he attended West Texas Military Academy, where he excelled and became valedictorian. Although he did not receive a presidential nomination, he scored high in Congressman Auchin's exam and entered West Point. There he testified in a congressional investigation on hazing and consistently demonstrated leadership. In 1903, he graduated first in his class and was commissioned as a 2nd lieutenant in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Junior officer. After completing postgraduate leave at Fort Mason, MacArthur went to the Philippines in 1903 with the 3rd Engineer Battalion, overseeing dock construction and surveying various areas, and in self-defense shot 2 Filipino guerrillas. In 1904, he was promoted to 1st lieutenant, but contracted malaria and returned to the U.S., working with the California Debris Commission and later serving as chief engineer of the Pacific Division. In 1905 to 1906, he accompanied his father on trips to Japan, India, Southeast Asia, and China. Upon returning, he joined the engineer school and also served as assistant to President Theodore Roosevelt. From 1907 to 11, he held various engineering and command assignments in Milwaukee, Fort Leavenworth, and Panama, and was promoted to captain in 1911. After his father's death in 1912, he requested transfer to Washington, D.C. to care for his ill mother and was appointed to the Chief of Staff's office under Army Chief Leonard Wood. Veracruz Expedition. In 1914, during the Veracruz occupation, MacArthur recognized the need for rail logistics and personally led the Alvarado operation to gather locomotives. He recovered 5 engines but faced armed attacks 3 times on his return, shooting attackers in self-defense while remaining unharmed. Although recommended for a medal for this bravery, the board objected to his unauthorized risky initiative, and the award was ultimately not given. World War I. Before World War I, MacArthur was promoted to major in the War Department and served as the Army's first press officer. He played a key role in forming the 42nd Rainbow Division from the National Guard. As Chief of Staff of the division, he demonstrated exceptional leadership in training, organization, and preparation. On the Western Front, he led various operations: Luneville, Salient de Fay, Champagne-Marne, Saint-Mihiel, and Meuse-Argonne, repeatedly showing valor at the front. For his leadership, he earned 2 Distinguished Service Crosses, 7 Silver Stars, 2 Croix de Guerre, and the commander rank of the Legion of Honor. During the war, he was promoted to Brigadier General, becoming the youngest general in the 8th EF, and briefly commanded the 42nd Division. After participating in the occupation of the Rhineland, he returned to the U.S. in April 1919. Role in wars. Douglas MacArthur's role in wars was highly significant and multifaceted. He held key positions in intelligence and planning during World War I. In World War II, he commanded U.S. forces in the Pacifics, overseeing the safe evacuation of troops from the Philippines, leading the battles of Leyte and Guinan, and managing the liberation of the Philippines. In the Korean War, he served as commander of United Nations forces, defending South Korea, executing the daring Incheon landing, and advancing into North Korea. His leadership was recognized for strategic skill, military planning, and bravery, though political and policy disputes created controversy. Thus, his wartime role was not only strategic, but also politically significant. World War II, Douglas MacArthur was a leading American military commander during World War II. As commander of the Pacific Theater, he led operations against Japan. After the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, he attempted to evacuate troops from the Philippines and then relocated to Australia, famously declaring, "I shall return." From 1942 to 1945, he directed Pacific operations, including the battles of Guinan and Leyte and the liberation of the Philippines. At the end of the war, he landed in Japan and oversaw Japan's surrender, playing a symbolic and practical role in Japan's defeat. Occupation of Japan. After Japan's surrender in August 1945, MacArthur from Tokyo oversaw the country through Emperor Hirohito and Japanese elites. He protected the emperor from prosecution, retaining him as a constitutional monarch under Operation Blacklist, which ensured a peaceful Allied occupation and political stability. While Allied forces prosecuted war criminals, the emperor and imperial family members were spared. MacArthur rebuilt Japan's society, economy, and government, transferring power back in 1949. The Allied occupation ended with the San Francisco Peace Treaty in 1951. He also attempted a Republican nomination for the presidency in 1948 but did not formally run. Thomas Dewey was ultimately nominated. Korean War. Douglas MacArthur was a key U.S. commander in the Korean War. After North Korea invaded South Korea in June 1950, he led United Nations forces to defend South Korea. His most notable strategy was the daring Incheon amphibious landing in September 1950, which completely shifted the war's momentum and confined communist forces to southern Korea. He then led advances into North Korea, but China's massive intervention destabilized U.S. and UN forces. His proposal to attack across the Chinese border caused a serious policy dispute with President Truman, and he was relieved in April 1951. The war showcased his strategic skill, but also highlighted political conflicts impacting his career. Later life. After returning from Korea in 1951, MacArthur addressed Congress, ending his 52-year military career. Although popular, he did not run for president and supported Taft in the 1952 Republican Convention. Later, he became chairman of the Remington Rand Board, visited the Philippines, wrote memoirs, advised Congress and presidents on military matters, and passed away in 1964. Title and honors. Douglas MacArthur was a prominent American military leader and a 5-star general of the Army. In 1944, during World II, he was promoted to this rank and became widely known as General MacArthur, or Douglas MacArthur, 5-star general. He received the Medal of Honor, Distinguished Service Cross, Navy Distinguished Service Medal, Silver Star, and Legion of Merit. Internationally, he was honored with Japan's Order of the Rising Sun, Italy's Order of Merit, and the United Kingdom's Order of the Bath. His leadership, strategy, and the phrase, "I shall return" in the Philippines made him legendary. Legacy. Memorials to Douglas MacArthur exist in Norfolk, Brisbane, Incheon, and Tokyo, preserving his offices, memorabilia, documents, and tomb. Despite setbacks after 1942, he remained a wartime hero in the eyes of the American public and was especially honored in the Philippines and Japan. Many military leaders consider him one of history's greatest strategic generals, though his personality and decisions have been criticized. He received over 100 military honors, and his ideal of duty, honor, country continues to inspire awards in the U.S. and Canada. Illness and death. On March 2, 1964, MacArthur was admitted to Walter Reed Army Medical Center due to abdominal pain, where moderate jaundice was detected. After surgery on April 5th, he succumbed to primary biliary cholangitis. Before his death, President Kennedy had approved a state funeral, later reaffirmed by President Johnson. On April 7th, his body was displayed in New York and transported by train to Washington, D.C., where around 150,000 people paid tribute at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. According to his wishes, he was interred on April 11th at St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Norfolk, Virginia, and later in the Norfolk City Hall Rotunda.